Class 11th, Subject Physics, 5th chapter, Gravitation. From the chapter, let us see the measurement of gravitational constant G. Measurement of gravitational constant G. The magnitude of gravitational constant is found by measuring the force of gravitational attraction between two bodies of masses m1 and m2 separated by a distance L. If two bodies having masses m1 and m2 are separated by a distance L, then by measuring the force of gravitational attraction between two bodies, the magnitude of gravitational constant can be determined. And this measurement of gravitational constant will be carried on by using Cavendish balance. Cavendish balance. It consists of a rigid support. Then from the rigid support, a metallic fine fiber will be connected. Along the length of this metallic fiber, a mirror will be connected so as to measure the angle of twist of this metallic fiber. Other end of that metallic fiber will be connected to a rod of length L. Then at the two ends of this rod, two equal masses, that is M will be connected. Then close to these small masses, two spheres having their masses again equal, that is M. That is the two spheres L1 and L2 will be placed at the distances r from these small spheres so that the forces will be acting between these large and small spheres at the two ends of this rod. Then here there will be a source of light, that is the lamp. Then here there will be scale with the help of which the angle of twist of this fiber can be measured. And therefore, if you consider the construction of this Cavendish balance, then it consists of a light rigid rod. It consists of a light rigid rod, that is this S1, S2 will represent this light rigid rod. It is supported at the center. It will be supported at the center by a fine vertical metallic fiber about 100 centimeter in length. So length of that fiber will be nearly 100 centimeter, and at the center of this rod it will be supporting this rod. The length of this fiber is equal to 100 centimeter. Then two small spheres S1 and S2 of lead having equal masses m and diameter about 5 centimeter are mounted at the two ends of that rod. So S1 and S2 will represent the two spheres which are mounted at the two ends of this rod, and these spheres are made up of lead. Then a mirror is now fastened to metallic fiber. A mirror will be fixed along the length of that metallic fiber. The mirror can be used to reflect the beam of light coming from that lamp onto the scale, and through which we measure the angle through which that fiber gets twisted. So in order to measure the angle theta through which that fiber gets twisted due to the movement of this rod, that can be measured with the help of this scale. So this will be the block diagram for this Cavendish balance. Now two large lead spheres L1 and L2 of equal masses m. Here there will be two now large lead spheres having mass again same mass m, that is L1 and L2, these two spheres of same mass m and diameters about 20 centimeter are brought close to these two small spheres S1 and S2 respectively. So L1 sphere will be brought towards S1 and L2 will be brought towards S2, and therefore there will be gravitational force between these two spheres. Now the big spheres attract the nearby small spheres, that is L1 and L2 will attract S1 and S2, these small spheres, by equal and opposite force. So force exerted, that is F. So this is the force F exerted by L1 on S1. It will be towards this, that is towards L1. Now second force will be here F, which is towards L2. These two forces will be equal in magnitude and opposite in direction, and they are acting at two different ends of that rod. Then let F be the force of attraction between the big and small spheres. Hence a torque will be generated without exerting only net force on the bar. So as soon as these two forces are acting here at two different ends of this bar, at that time these two forces are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction, and therefore remember, if two equal and opposite forces are acting at two different points of the same body, then it will give rise to a torque or couple. So torque will be produced here, and due to that torque this fiber will get deflected, it will get twisted, and that torque will be nothing but the deflecting torque, and hence that torque is generated without exerting any net force on the bar. So when that torque is generated, at that time no net force will be acting on the bar. Due to this torque the bar turns. Due to this torque acting on that bar will turn, and hence the suspension wire will get twisted till the restoring torque due to elastic property of the wire becomes equal to the gravitational torque. So in this case, when these two forces F and F, equal in magnitude and opposite in direction, are acting at two ends of this rod, therefore it will give rise to couple. Due to that couple or the torque, this rod will get turned. Due to the turning of this rod, the fiber will get twisted, and therefore the fiber will get twisted till this deflecting torque becomes equal to restoring torque. Now deflecting torque will be due to the turning of this rod, and the restoring torque will be due to the elastic property of this suspension or this suspension fiber. So when deflecting torque becomes equal to restoring torque, at that time that rod will come to rest at a particular position, and therefore that position of the rod is said to be equilibrium position. Now the gravitational force between the spheres is the same if their masses are concentrated at their centers. If the masses of these spheres are concentrated at the centers, then and then only the gravitational force between the two spheres is the same. Now suppose if r is the initial distance of separation between the centers of the neighboring big and small spheres. Now suppose if this r represents, this distance is r, this distance is also r, these are the distances between the centers of the small and big spheres. If that distance is equal to r, and then the magnitude of the force between them is, the magnitude of the force between these spheres will be given as, if r is the distance of separation between the centers of these neighboring spheres, at that time the force, that is gravitational force between them, will be given as F is equal to gmm upon r square. G will be the gravitational constant, m is mass of the small sphere, capital M is mass of the big sphere upon distance of separation square, and therefore F will be equal to gmm upon r square. gmm upon r square. This will be the gravitational force. This is the gravitational force between the two spheres which are close to each other, that is the two spheres which are neighboring spheres. These two spheres as well as these two spheres will be acted upon by this gravitational force, that is F is equal to gmm by r square. Now if L is the length of this rod, if L is the length of this rod, that is distance between the two small spheres, then the magnitude of the torque acting due to these forces will be equal to, as this force is F, this force is also F, that is gmm by r square. And therefore according to definition of torque, torque is nothing but the product of magnitude of one force and the perpendicular distance between two forces. Now the magnitude of one force is gmm upon r square, and the perpendicular distance between these two forces, F and F, between these two forces, that is the length of the rod, that is equal to L, and therefore the torque will be given as force into perpendicular distance, that is L, that is equal to gmm upon r square into L. Now this torque acting on this rod will deflect or will turn this rod so that this fiber will get twisted, and therefore this torque T is equal to FL, that is equal to gmm by r square into L, will give rise to the deflecting torque. So due to this deflecting torque, there will be twisting of this suspension fiber, and therefore the restoring torque will be now supplied. The restoring torque will be provided by that fiber in order to oppose this deflecting torque, and that restoring torque will be equal to k theta. Restoring torque is equal to k theta, where k is the restoring torque per unit twist, that is per unit angle. K is nothing but the restoring torque per unit twist or per unit angle, and theta is the angle of twist. Theta is the angle of twist, and therefore this will be the restoring torque. Now when equilibrium position of the rod is reached, that is due to deflecting torque, that rod will get deflected, that is turned, and so that fiber will get twisted. But when the restoring torque is acting on it, at that time this restoring torque will oppose this deflecting torque, and a situation will be reached at which that rod will come to rest in a particular direction, and therefore that position will be the equilibrium position. And therefore at equilibrium the restoring torque will be equal to the deflecting torque. So at equilibrium of that rod, this deflecting torque will be equal to restoring torque, and therefore we can write gmm upon r square into L, that is deflecting torque, it must be equal to restoring torque k theta, where k will be equal to torque per unit twist or torque per unit angle. Now if you consider this formula, then by applying a known torque and measuring the corresponding angle of twist, the restoring torque per unit twist can be determined as k is equal to torque upon theta. By applying a known torque and measuring the corresponding angle of twist, the restoring torque per unit twist can be determined by using that formula which is given as k equal to torque upon theta, that is twist or angle. Now in actual experiment, if you consider the actual experiment, then in that actual experiment, measuring theta, by measuring theta and knowing the values of torque, small m, capital M and R, the value of G is found to be, G equal to 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square per kilogram square. So from this formula, if we know the values of M, R as well as L and K, and if we measure theta, then by using this formula, if we find out the value of G, that is gravitational constant, then it comes out to be 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square per kilogram square. So this will be the value of gravitational constant. And now let us see acceleration due to gravity. Acceleration due to gravity. Acceleration due to gravity. If mass of the earth capital M, and that of the point object is small m, and the distance of point object from the center of the earth is small r, then the force of attraction between them will be given as. So if capital M represents mass of the earth, small m represents mass of the point object which is placed on the earth's surface, and r is the distance between the center of the earth and that point object. If it is, then according to formula for the gravitational force, F is equal to Gmm upon r square. F will be equal to Gmm by r square. Now if the point object is not acted upon by any other force, if no other force is acting on that point object, it will be accelerated towards the center of the earth. It will be accelerated towards the center of the earth under the action of this force. Its acceleration can be calculated by using Newton's second law of motion. Its acceleration will be calculated by using Newton's second law of motion, that is F is equal to ma. Now as F is equal to ma, that is force is equal to mass into acceleration, therefore acceleration of that body will be equal to F by m. A will be equal to F by m, and therefore we can write acceleration due to gravity of the earth. Acceleration due to gravity of the earth will be equal to gravitational force upon mass of the body, that is gravitational force upon mass of the body, that is Gmm upon r square into 1 by m. M will get cancelled and we will get Gm by r square, that is nothing but acceleration due to gravity G. Gm by r square. G will be gravitational constant, m will be mass of the earth, r will be the distance between that object and the center of the earth. And now if we consider this Gm by r square, this is called as acceleration due to gravity, that is G. It is the acceleration due to gravity G. So Gm by r square, G is constant, m will be constant, and therefore this acceleration due to gravity will depend upon this distance. So this will represent the formula for Earth's acceleration due to gravity. Now if the object is close to the surface, if the object is close to the surface of the earth, if any object is close to the surface of the earth, that is if the object is on the surface of the earth, if that object is placed on the earth's surface, at that time we can say that the distance between the object and the center of the earth r will be approximately equal to radius of the earth, that is r is radius of the earth, and therefore If we replace small r by this capital R, then g on the Earth's surface will be equal to gm by r square, and whose value is g equal to 9.8 meter per second square. It will be calculated by putting the value of g, m and r in this formula. So this formula, g is equal to gm by r square, will represent acceleration due to gravity on the Earth's surface, and this formula will give us gm by r square. That is also the acceleration due to gravity, but it will be at any distance r from the center of the Earth. So above the Earth's surface or below the Earth's surface, we can determine the value of acceleration due to gravity by using gm by r square, and on the Earth's surface we can calculate acceleration due to gravity by using the formula gm by r square. That means this formula will be useful to find acceleration due to gravity if the object is present on the Earth's surface, and this formula will be used when that object is not on the Earth's surface. It may be above the Earth's surface.